Hello, what's up guys, I'm Kyle from KGR, and in this box is the new S.H. Figuarts Naruto Sage Mode. Now this figure was P Bandai exclusive, so you couldn't find this at your local hobby shop or even Target. But some other places have had this figure, whether it be like Big Bad Toy Store, I think Nin Game had it. Maybe some other places, I can't remember if there's any places that still have it, I'll leave it down below, but as far as I'm aware, I think this guy might be sold out outside of resellers on eBay. But as I keep rambling, let's take it out of this box real quick so we can like examine it. But anyway, like I was saying, this figure is actually a little bit more expensive compared to your average Naruto S.H. Figuarts. For example, like standard Naruto, he's anywhere between like $35 more or less depending on where you go. And then there's some other characters that jump upwards to like 50 or 60. But I think this one, after tax and shipping, I think was about $100 more or less. But let's take him out of the box real quick. There he is. Look at that. But anyway, this one's a little bit more expensive because he comes with other stuff. He comes with a soft goods cloak. I'm not sure if he comes with a Rasen Shuriken. I'm not sure what else is included in this figure. But with a mixture of everything I've stated, it made this figure more expensive. And now that it's mostly gone, you're going to be paying a little bit more outside of that $100 that I paid for. So we're going to find out today, is he worth that price? And we're also going to compare it to a couple other Naruto figures. There's actually one I forgot to pull down. I'll pull that down later. But before we continue, let's take a look at the box real quick. So we got an illustration of Naruto himself with his cloak on and his arms folded. And then we have Naruto himself, and then we got different hands and different faces. And then we got different poses on the side. And so far, I'm really happy with the faces that they've included that you can already see just from like the actual printings on the box. And then on the back, we get to see him in different poses and stuff like that. You can see his range. You get to see all the different Rasengan pieces he comes with. So overall, it looks pretty solid so far. I'm really excited about this. As far as I'm aware, the sculpt itself should be the standard Naruto, just with a bunch of extra goodies. So if you need more Narutos for your shadow clones, this is going to be a good one. It's going to be an expensive one, but it's going to be a good one. But without further ado, let's open them up. I'm so excited for this. I'm also really excited for Pain to be released, which I never found a good Japanese place to pre-order them from. I just got mine from Big Bad Toy Store because, like, I don't think P Bandai got it in. I don't think Nin Game got it in. They have a listing for it, but it never went live, I don't think. like everything's gone from that. But let's open it up. And, oh, there he is. And, oh, he comes with a cardboard backing. If you've been buying any of the Naruto Top 99 releases, they did away with this. And I'm not sure if the standard Naruto line is going to be going that route either. So what they would do is, like, put a little, like, instructions under flaps. So it made the unboxing experience a little bit more nice. But I guess the instructions are going to be on here. And here's everything. So it looks like they did change a few things on this figure. Then it teaches us how to put the thing on, the cloak, as well as a scroll and all that fun stuff. Then it has that extra large peg for the Rasen Shuriken. Makes me a little nervous. Which, speaking of, the Rasen Shuriken is on a separate layer. It's not even... Oh, and the cloak is... Never mind, it's not even on another layer. It's just taped to the bottom of the box. I love how with Itachi, they had it as a separate layer to put under this. But instead, they literally just put it in bags and taped it down and said, good luck. I feel like if I'm paying $90, more or less, I wish it was actually, like, presented a little better. But we will worry about these a little bit later. Let's just get into the figure himself. Let's take a look at that. And then we got the little plastic wrap in between a few joints. I like how I had a little grip to, like, pull from, only for the grip to just rip off twice. So anyway, here is the Naruto figure himself. And let's get a closer look at him real quick. He looks fantastic. The shading on him looks a little bit darker, like it's a different paint job, I believe. Almost reminds me of the battle-scarred version of Naruto. But I love the way that face is painted. It looks so good. When I see these other faces, these look fantastic as well, but I'm personally not a huge fan of the smiling face right here, because when I think of Naruto going into Sage Mode, I think of him, like, ready to, like, I want to keep it PG. like things are about to get serious. Like, he's ready to, like, tear the enemy another one. Like, I don't think him going into, like, in the smiling Sage mode is like, yo, okay, things are getting serious. I need to, like, step up my game. Here we go. So I'm probably not going to use this face all that much. But all the other ones I love, especially this eye closed face. I love the fact that you can do that so he can, like, meditate and stuff. So cool. So then we got these open hands right here. I might use these. I wish they were more spread out more, but I want to use those for when he's doing, like, a summoning jutsu. Which, speaking of, I wish he would have came with, like, more of a thumbs up so he could bite his thumb, place it on the ground to do a toad summoning jutsu, which I feel would have been appropriate because of the fact that he's in Sage mode. He's going to be with the toads. But then we have this gripping hand, which I'm not entirely sure what this is going to be for, since he doesn't have anything to grip onto. It's a weird shape, too. Like I don't think he's going to really grip anything out of that. Maybe we could use this for summoning toads, sure. But then we have these hands that are dedicated for the Rasengan pegs, which it looks like just they made it one big solid unit, because when they did, I think it was the, like, this Naruto over here, like the one that is the Kurama Link, they had a separate plastic piece that was in there. It was like a clear blue, and it ended up snapping pretty easy. So I guess they took feedback from that and made that into like one giant plastic piece that's already embedded into the hand. So good job, Tamashii Nations, on like taking that criticism and like evolving your figure. So good job. Then of course we got like jutsu hands and other stuff like that. But I've been rambling about the accessories for too long. Let's get a closer look at Naruto. But man, this thing looks so good. But let's compare him to some of the other Narutos, because I have quite a handful of Narutos to compare him with. First, let's compare him to the standard Naruto that you would find in your average Target. So as you can tell, the colors are much more muted, which I feel it'll probably match the cloak pretty well. But personally, I like the more vibrant look of this Naruto more. And I don't know if it's just me, but the eyes on this one looks smaller than these eyes, which honestly I think is probably a good thing. I'm not a huge fan of the eyes on this one. It doesn't perfectly match Naruto. They look fine, but like I feel like this definitely matches Naruto a little bit better. Let me grab a few more Narutos off my shelf real quick, but the only one I don't have up here is my battle scarred one. That one I didn't have space for, so I just kept that one in the basement. But I do have a few more Narutos to compare him with on here. Now let's compare him to the Narutop 99 Naruto. I love this figure so much. I feel like they did a good job with the shading, a good blend between dark and vibrant. So it doesn't look as muted as this one does. So overall, I like this one the most. But this still looks fine. In fact, it actually kind of reminds me of the very first Naruto that launched in the Figuarts line. Because if you compare the colors... Oh, the plastic piece got caught up on there. Anyway, yeah, if you compare it to the original Naruto, the colors are actually fairly close to each other. This one's like a little bit darker, but I don't know, it sends me back to a time. We'll put you right here. And the worst part is, you see different Narutos over here, plus this one. I still have at least 3 more that are not on camera. But there's something I want to experiment with real quick, but while I'm here. So the way they're doing the crossed arms is kind of different. So with the standard Naruto right here, you would separate it from the shoulders, I believe. Like right here, and then make him cross his arms. While with this Naruto figure, you're doing it from the elbows. When it comes to doing Sage Mode, I feel like doing the crossed arm look is very necessary, but trying to do it from the shoulder like the old Naruto would be very difficult when it comes to this cloak. So I want to experiment with that, but first let's try this cloak on real quick. So we're gonna take this out, which the soft goods have been getting some criticism, whether it be from Itachi or from this new Sage Mode Naruto, that ones that are made by third parties tend to look better, which I can't really testify for that because I haven't messed with any of those. But there is a wire in here, so you can make him dynamic and put him in any pose you would need him to be in. I feel like with this figure, I'm going to keep him with the cloak on. But seeing him with this cloak, it kind of messes with me because the Minato that came out recently from Naruto Top 99 does not have a soft goods cloak. And when I think of this cloak, I think how it's supposed to be kind of an homage to his cloak. So having this clash with the regular one that we got from Minato, which I'll compare that to, it just doesn't look all that right to me. Some things should be better left as just sculpted on and being a regular standard plastic figure. I think this would have really benefited from being just a standard action figure. Just not having soft goods on. Just make it its own release. Keep it stuck on there. So here's how it looks with the cloak on. And it looks a little bit bulky on him. I feel like when it comes to action figures at this scale having soft goods, it's really hard to make it look like it's perfectly on him. When it comes to bigger scale stuff like Hot Toys or anything like that large, like I think it's like 1/6 scale, then yeah, they look mostly fine. But when it comes to 1/12 scale, it is hard to perfect the proportions well enough where it looks like it just naturally lays on the character rather than just being so bulky, you know? Because it definitely doesn't look good across his shoulders. But I guess you could just use the wiring and like make it wrap around a little bit better, but I don't know, I think it would have been better as just a standard action figure. So let's compare him with this Naruto. I feel the whole sculpt as a whole, like outside of the cloak, let's say like his face and head and everything, this figure definitely looks better. Like the paint job on this one looks better too. Like a lot of things have changed over, what, 8 to 10 years, somewhere in that area. So overall, I think this figure does look better, and I love how vibrant his hair is in this figure as well. But personally, I feel that this cloak definitely looks better. Like you can see how well it wraps around, like across his shoulders and stuff like that. But when it comes to taking this off, it's a huge pain because you gotta like swap out whole different arms and like take everything off. It's a small pain. But personally, I feel it should have just been its own figure, not be able to take it on and off. I don't think this looks all that bad. I just think that this is better, honestly. Like, for example, when it comes to newer figures, we have the Kurama Link Naruto, where you see this cloak right here. But you see how everything just wraps around him perfectly, and you still are able to have that range of motion. I feel this, as well as the Obito and even the Minato that have come out, they have all perfected the look of the cloak being plastic and still giving you the range that you need. And with them being as rubbery as they are, it doesn't really hinder the plastic too much. It's just the only major benefit of having soft goods on a figure like this is having that wire inside there, so you can pose it and permanently make it look dynamic, which can be a much better effect. There are pros to cons to each one, so it's honestly tough for me to say which one is better. Like, even though I like the look of the plastic cloak so much better, imagine having a picture of him looking over a cliff with his arms crossed, but with this just being windswept. As much as I like plastic cloaks more for the aesthetic, I can't deny that that is going to be a fantastic photo op. But then in that case, I feel that's probably better off being a third-party thing. Like, I can't fault Tamashii Nations for going with soft goods. Because, again, in opportunities, it does make it look really good. Like, look at that. You can't tell me that looks awful. Like, this actually looks really solid. But I personally feel that Tamashii Nations should have stuck with just plastic pieces and then just let third-party developers make their own soft goods with wiring like this and let them get a tackle at it. Or maybe that's just a hot take. I know some collectors agree with me, but it doesn't mean that my opinion is the only opinion or the correct opinion. That's just my personal take. But let's compare him to Minato real quick. And here he is, next to his dad. Like, I like the way this plastic cloak looks. However, it does have cons with the fact that you can't fully put his arms down because of these being stretched the way they are. Again, neither one is perfect. But I feel like this is probably the best case scenario of the pros and cons between the two. It does clash the look, I believe, but you can see why this can look good but be cumbersome, and this look not as good but have a lot more range to work with. So that makes it tough to choose between the two. Because now part of me does want to see a Minato with soft goods, because seeing him in his standard regular outfit outside of the cloak would be really awesome. So as much as I'm complaining I don't like soft goods, now I want to see a Minato with soft goods. I am so wishy-washy. But let's try out some different poses with Naruto and just have fun real quick. Hey, Future Kyle here. I want to give you my final thoughts on this figure after playing with it and doing my photo shoot and everything with it. It's honestly a lot better than I expected. I thought it was just going to be a simple repaint, same sculpt for the most part, but they actually addressed a few issues that I had with the original figure. My favorite one, honestly, is the fact that the headband, you could actually move freely. So for a while, it was just a hinge, so it would only go up and down, but you could actually fully pose this the way you need to. That's actually pretty impressive. And with it already being wavy as it is, like, it can be windswept if you really wanted to make it look like that. And something I mentioned earlier, the crossing the arms thing right here, originally you did it from the shoulders, but you do it from the elbows now. It's still a pain to set up, but it's more tolerable in comparison. And after comparing the figures side by side, I can see how much more vibrant yellow that his hair is in comparison to the other figures. So I want to consider this a Naruto 3.5, honestly. This is actually a really impressive sculpt. And I hope that if they make newer Naruto figures down the line, they actually like use this sculpt, which most likely they will. But overall, I am very pleased with this. Now back to me being in front of the camera in a different angle. Overall, I think this figure is a very solid release. I love the way this figure looks. It's so cool. Again, I'm hit and miss on soft goods. I both love and hate it. But I think it's going to be up to you on what you think, because you could either get a standard Naruto and then get third-party options when it comes to different faces, effect pieces, and stuff like that, or you can go official and get this release. And honestly, it's a really good release. I love this figure. Like, it's so cool. I already love the posability of these Naruto figures as a whole. I love the extended range, I should say, of posability with soft goods. Not the fact that it doesn't hinder articulation, but the fact that you can do whatever you want with these cloaks. The amount of accessories you get is pretty good. I kind of wish that it would have came with a stand for the Sen Shuriken as well, personally. But overall, he's worth it. I'm so happy I bought this figure. But there's something I almost forgot. If you bought the S.H. Figuarts Obito, it would have came with a Sage Mode face for Naruto. And it definitely looks vastly different compared to this face that you would get already in the box. And then when you get a closer look at the two, you can see that this face definitely looks wider, and the way that the whiskers are even painted different. Like, there is a huge difference between the two. But I do like seeing that, like, that little teeth, like, I don't know, the fang looking thing. Like, I don't know, they both look pretty great. I'm happy that I can use both of those as options. But overall, I feel Tamashii Nations nailed it on this figure. But that's going to be it for this video. So if you're new and you like what you saw, you know what to do. In the description, there'll be places on where you can hopefully order this guy, as well as my social media. But as a small side note, like outside of the figure review, so my shelf, I have IKEA shelves for my figure collection. And one shelf, I have all my Naruto figures on, and it's getting to a point now where I can't fit all of them on that shelf anymore. So eventually, the dream is to hopefully get a bigger place so I could have one other bookcase and have half of that be Naruto and another half possibly be Dragon Ball, because I want to get into Dragon Ball, but I don't have the space for all those figures, because there's so many characters I would love to buy once I get into it. So right now, I'm taking down figures from the older set of the figures to replace them with the newer ones, and personally, I don't like doing that. I love being able to show like how much the collection has evolved, not just my personal collection, but just Tamashii Nation's, like how much they evolved from there. And now I don't have the space to do that anymore, so I think right now I'm just gonna start taking down figures and rearrange and make room for newer stuff. And if you made it to the end of the video, I want to ask you, how do you feel? Because I do have the Jiraiya as well as the new Madara, that are the exclusive versions that are just repaints. I haven't opened them yet. I've had them since they released, but I haven't opened them yet, so maybe I'll do a video on those and just swap them out with the older ones up there. I'm very bittersweet because I'm very happy with how these new figures look, but I wish I could just keep the older ones on the shelf too. And it's almost at a point where I gotta start taking them off the shelves in my basement to put them in boxes because I don't have much room in there either. It's going from storage to super storage. Okay, now I'm done with my tangent. Thank you for hanging out. I love you guys to death, and I'll see you on the next one. So peace.